What's a second chance after 4 years of jail? For most people, they will take a second chance as another chance to live where they live honorably. Well, I don't think that is the case for the professional thief Danny Ocean. Danny is having his parole hearing where the interviewers remind him that although that is his first conviction for fraud, he has been reported several times for stealing and armed robbery, but he wasn't tried. He tells them that the fact that he wasn't tried means something. They ask him why he was caught the last time, and instead of answering, he tells them that his wife had just left him and he got involved in bad stuff. They wonder if he will get involved in bad stuff again, and he says no because his wife can't leave him twice. Well, let's see if he gets involved or not. Upon leaving jail, Danny tries to go to a club. At the club, he recognizes the attendant as Frank, and when he calls the man Frank, the man says he is Ramon. He tells him that if that club is too dull for him, he should visit another bar. He goes to the bar on Frank's advice, and Frank comes to meet him there. He asks Frank about his best friend, Russ Ryan, a colleague in the stealing industry, and Frank informs him that Russ now trains celebrities on how to play cards. He goes to find Russ, who is presently teaching some celebrities how to deal the cards. When Russ isn't in their midst, he joins the team, and when Russ arrives, he places a bet and they play. After the game, they meet to talk. You can assume they aren't having an academic conversation or business discussion. They are talking about the next heist to be executed. Russ asks Danny what his plan is, and Danny reveals that it is a kind of heist that no one has ever done before. They need the best hands to execute it, and they need funds. They will be robbing a casino with a vault, and when Russ asks what casino it is, Danny reveals it isn't a casino. Instead, they will be robbing 3 different casinos, which belong to the same person, Terry Benedict. The 3 casinos, the Bellagio, the Mirage, and the MGM Graham, keep their cash at the same vault, and they are known for having so much cash so their patrons can't bet. Danny forecasts that on the eve of an upcoming boxing match, the vault will have $150 million in the vault, guarded by several securities. They need cash to get this done, and there is no other person they could reach out to but Ruben Tishkoff. Ruben also has casinos, and he had been sent out of his casinos by Terry. They know that Ruben will be excited to work with them. As planned, they meet Ruben at Los Angeles, and when they inform him that they want to rob a casino, he immediately tells them it will be impossible, as he is the one who created the vault, and he knows it is almost impossible that the vault will be robbed. He tells them to give up on it, and as they are about to leave, he asks them what casino they are about to rob. When they tell him it belongs to Benedict, he gets excited to work with them. He tells them what Benedict had done to him, but insists that they will need more than just willpower to attack Benedict. He offers to give them the funds they need, and they gather their team. The team include a con man, Frank Catton, Saul Bloom, an aging con man, Virgil, and Turk Malloy, brothers who are auto specialists, Basher Tar, an explosive expert, Livingston Dell, a surveillance technician, Yen, an acrobat, and Linus, a pickpocket. After gathering the entire team, he calls them to Las Vegas, and he takes them into a room to inform them of the task ahead of them. He starts with the bad news, which is the fact that the casino they are about to rob has a restricted card entry, then an elevator that can only be passed after it has been triggered by eye-lens of the authorized personnel. If they are successful, they will encounter another high security before they get to the vault. Realizing that it is more of bad news, they ask him what is the good news, and he tells them about the money. He informs them that they are 11 at the moment, and they will share the money equally. Saul asks him how they will leave the casino after taking the money if they successfully bypass the securities. Danny announces that once they successfully do that, they can take the money. The plan begins with getting familiar with the casino, the staff and all the workers. They also need access to all the CCTV cameras in the casino, Livingston's duty. He informs them that the security is tight, but he can bypass the casino using 2 private technicians, but Russ tells him one of them is lonely. They send a woman to the lonely one, and the lady seduces him and takes his card. 2 of the team members cause a fight in the casino with a balloon and block the camera. The guard by the door is called to attend to the situation, and when he left his door, Livingston enters and goes to the camera room. He copies their server so they can also access the cameras from their house, and when he succeeds, he finds his way out, although he almost gets caught when he loses his way. He bumps into the guard on the way, and as he is about to leave, the guard calls him back. He is scared, but the guy says he had forgotten his telephone, and he gives it back, so he leaves. The next stage is to construct the vault in their house, so they can practice with the vault and get perfect. They also need the code, and the only way to get it is to survey Benedict himself. so they task Linus with the surveillance of Benedict. On the other hand, Saul prepares to go to the casino to pretend to be a rich man so he can deceive Benedict. When Linus finishes his investigation, he calls Russ and shows Russ how Benedict spends his day. The relationship shocks Russ as they get to the point where Linus mentions that a lady comes down from the museum to meet Benedict, and he doesn't know if they could use her. When Russ sees her, he hides. He tells Linus that the lady's name is Tess. Tess is Danny's ex-wife, and Russ immediately goes to confront Danny, wanting to know if the entire operation was just a revenge to the person that had stolen his ex-wife. He doesn't want to have the conversation, but Russ reminds him that their robbery aim is to ensure that they do not have conflict of interest, and if he continues with that robbery, he will surely have a conflict of interest. He insists that he is fine, and he doesn't have to worry, because if things go well, he won't be the one to choose, but Tess. Benedict gets informed about Saul's presence in the casino, as Saul has pretended to be a rich man. He goes to meet Saul, asking Saul if he wants to place a bet on the boxing that is coming up. Saul claims he isn't interested in boxing, but he has a very important package coming to the casino on the same night, and he needs Benedict to take care of it personally for him. Benedict tells him to be rest assured of their company's securities, but he can't assure him that he will personally take care of the property. However, Saul claims what is coming is very important, and Benedict will also gain from it, so Benedict should help him. On the other hand, Danny goes to meet Tess. He asks her why she is not wearing her ring, but she reminds him that she sent a divorce letter to him. She says she is now with Benedict, and there is nothing he can do about it. As he keeps trying to convince her, Benedict comes there and he claims he had just seen her coincidentally. Although Benedict doesn't believe, he accepts regardless. They return home to find out that the means they intend to come out through has been blocked. They run to get a teaser that would act as an explosion for them, but by the time they recover it and get home, they find out Benedict has flagged Danny from the casino. When Russ asks Danny what had happened, he tries to lie, but Linus reveals he had been stalking Danny, and he knew that Danny met Tess. They plan that since Danny can no longer enter the casino, Linus will blow the vault on their behalf. On the day of the operation, Saul gets his package and gives it to Benedict, who refuses to let him into the vault, but says he will give Saul access to the camera room so he can be looking at his package. They put the package in a box, but the box gets exchanged with the box that Yen is hiding in, so Yen can enter the vault. Yen can only hide in the box for 30 minutes, so they proceed to the other plans. Linus meets Benedict pretending to be a member of the gaming cooperation and accuses Frank of being a criminal. Benedict asks them to talk in a special room, and when Frank tries to fight Linus, Linus slides beside Benedict and takes the code to the elevators. Danny comes to the casino to meet Tess. She knows he has a plan, but he denies it and says he wants to tell her goodbye. He is arrested by Benedict's men. After Linus finishes with Benedict and he is about to leave, Linus claims he has forgotten his telephone, so Benedict asks him to find his way. The box with Yen gets to the safe, and when Linus tries to enter the elevator to draw the attention of the men in the security room, Saul suddenly faints. With all attention on Saul, Linus opens the door while Livingston deletes the image on the CCTV. The security working for Benedict to arrest Danny is actually working for Danny, and he lets Danny go. Danny reunites with Linus outside the vault while Yen finds his way in the vault, and they enter too. The case that Saul gave Benedict contains bombs, and they blow off the vault to take the money. Later, Russ calls a phone that Danny has kept in Tess's pocket. When it rings, Benedict asks her to pick it up. She does, and the person, Russ, asks to speak with Benedict. He tells Benedict that they are robbing him, that he has two choices: either allow them to take $90 million out of the $180 million in the vault, and they go successfully, or he should call the police and they will blow off the entire vault. Although he immediately contacts SWAT, but he calls Russ back and says he will let them go. So Russ tells him to allow his crew to take the bags with the letter X and put it in a bus outside the casino. The bus also has a bomb in it. The SWAT team arrives while Benedict does that. Benedict also tells Russ that he must run and hide so that the authorities won't catch him, because he intends to catch him by himself and kill him. He asks some of his men to tail the bus, and when they get to an open space, they realize that the bus was empty and no one was driving it. Benedict goes to his vault to find out that the remainder of the money was just flyers, and the part in the bus which his men opened were just flyers. He realizes that the clip they had shown him on his camera was pre-recorded. He wonders how they had access to the vault and had left successfully. It turns out when he had called 911, his call was intercepted and they were the ones that picked up. They came as 911, and they asked him to switch off the electricity. He switches it off, and they went out through the door and entered into the SWAT bus to leave. Danny jumps back to the room he was being tortured in. Benedict comes to meet him there and asks him if he has a hand in the matter. He asks what matter he is talking about and pretends not to know anything. Benedict releases him. When he is on the corridor, he calls Tess and asks her to look at the television behind her. He asks Benedict if he was robbed, and Benedict asks him if he had a hand in the robbery. He says no, but says if he can give Benedict his money back, will Benedict leave Tess? Benedict says yes, so he says he knows a guy who knows who took Benedict's money. Tess realizes Benedict doesn't love her more than he loves his money, so she decides to leave. Benedict realizes there is no way he can connect Danny to the robbery, since Danny was locked in, but he knows Danny must have breached the parole order, so he calls the police. When Tess is about to leave, she meets Benedict and tells him that he should be in his casino. Someone is always watching. She runs after Danny and tells him she didn't know what she was doing. The other members of the team are on the beach enjoying themselves. Eventually, Danny gets released, and Russ goes to pick him up. He reunites with Tess, who is in the car, and they drive away as Benedict's men stalk them. The movie ends on a good note for Danny, who gets both his wife and some extra money. What a successful heist.